Hi, I'm Sertic, and if you don't know me, I love learning language. And along the way, I've picked up German and Korean and dabbled just a little bit in Spanish and Vietnamese, but that's beside the point. Today, I'll talk about how to present in a foreign language and succeed. This won't be an intro to Japanese class, so if that's what you want, go look in the East Asian language department. Instead, in this presentation, I'll talk about how to nail an introduction, learning some helpful context, what to do while presenting, and how to end well. First things first, making a good impression. Of course, this is a presentation. However, you gotta introduce yourself for fear of being a donut. So you're thrown into a room of people that don't speak your language, and you might realize in this moment, you know a little bit what you did. So practice, practice, practice. Just as I practice in my head before practice and know what you'll say to guarantee. Additionally, having a good business card and know how to greet people. Speaking of knowing about the manner in which you'll introduce, let's talk cultural differences. Before going is to do some research on the culture around your brave and extremely memorable mistake, a faux pas. I know Japan, instead they point at their nose. According to an article in Psychology, to use the middle finger in everyday life with no negative connotation whatsoever. Another piece that plays into the culture of presenting is filler words. While it's frowned upon in general to use them, odds are you're going to forget your words rather than saying, which clearly indicates you're an English speaker. Most languages have other filler words. In my research, I reached out to Paulo Hopp, an esteemed lawyer at Squire Patton Boggs, who constantly presents in English and Spanish. In particular, he said, for example, in Spanish, you say este, but pronounced in a more drawn-out fashion like este. Other than Spanish, a quick search through Tumblr shows that some filler words from other languages include ku or chogi in Korean, ano or e in Japanese, and na ya in German. Now that you understand a little bit about the people you're presenting to, using the language shouldn't be nearly as hard. Finally, it's time for the speech. Another piece of advice Mr. Hopp said was, if you're not fully conversant in the language and not easily able to improvise your speech, then it is okay to write it all out and memorize it as well as you can. This is an obvious part of presenting, but even more important when presenting in different languages, especially languages where pronunciation is everything. As a failsafe, it's a good idea to run your speech by a native speaker. Asking for help will guarantee that your presentation does well for everyone else. It also prevents awkward sayings and straight-up bad translations. An important tip written by Catherine Brooks in her blog post found on Psychology Today was to develop a specialized vocabulary, learning the terminology for legal, business, or medical settings. Knowing the specific terminology of the people you're presenting to will make you look more professional. Now that you've eased your way into the presentation, let's talk about how to end it. So you've done it. You presented in another language and didn't accidentally say some terrible thing about your father through sheer mispronunciation. What do you do now? As with almost all presentations, keep the endings to the point, memorable, and memorable. Another tip that Mr. Hopp gave was to try and anticipate questions that you are likely to be asked so that you can have the vocabulary at your fingertips in case you will need it. I hope that some of these tips will help you or someone you know to present in another language with ease. By having a solid introduction, doing some research on the culture beforehand, practicing the speech itself, and making a strong conclusion, this presentation can become just as easy as presenting in your mother tongue.